Hello beautiful people, welcome to another video. Today's video is going to be about saving yourself. It's about 4 in the morning, pretty tired man, I don't know why, new moon. And I know why I'm tired man, because I had a relapse the other day, and that is probably the reason for making this video. The reason for making the video is saving yourself, saving your soul from the damnation of the lower vibrational frequencies, that is hell. If you want to exist in hell, then ignore what I'm about to tell you. There are many teachers talking about this. I'm holding this light, man.
Послушай, а кто это дала? Это Эдми. Тебе не кажется, что я слишком длинная?
Okay, so where was I? Talking about salvation. Talking about trying to get the lighting good, because it's a pretty shit lighting. Oh well. So saving yourself. This is relating to CHRISM, white tantra, sacred sex, sexual union, perfect matrimony. Essentially, I've made a couple of other videos about this. This is a subject very personal to me, and it should be very personal to you. If you're not practicing this, then, well, these are not my words, I'm going to quote someone else here. If you're constantly fapulating and ejaculating and eating the flesh of animals, you are going to hell. You are going to the bottom of hell. Right? These are not my words. That is coming from a quote from Breatharian. So, having experienced hell, or having experienced being in the lower realms, the lower chakras, the base chakra, the area where your sexual organs are, the Muladhara, the base chakra. This is the lower realms, okay? What we want to be doing is raising up, heaving up to the heavens, okay, where the temples are. Head, heaven, heave up, okay, as Santos Bonacci says. You know, there are great men doing great work out there. It's just falling on deaf ears. People are blind. People are blind and deaf and dumb, and couldn't give a shit about the truth, I think. So, so you need to begin this practice of white tantra. At least start the practice of grey tantra. Grey tantra is when you only have a ejaculatory orgasm every so often. The rest of the time you are practicing semen retention, raising up the manna from heaven, okay, the CHRISM, the Christos, the Christ oil, the sacred secretion from the secret sacred cloister, the claustrum in the center of the cerebrum, the Sarah and Abraham, the cerebrum, the brain. This is where the sacred secretion is, takes place. The CHRISM, the Christ oil, is secreted, and you must raise that back up during sexual encounters, sacred masturbation, sacred sexual encounters, sexual union. This is how you have sex and open up the heart chakra, okay? This is how you turn lead into gold. This is how you turn lust into love. That was what I was looking for. Sexual lust becomes sexual love. Non-ejaculatory lovemaking must take place. Now, I know firsthand how hard that is in the beginning. When you're with a beautiful goddess, well, when you're with a beautiful woman and you're in the heat of the moment, holding and retaining your life force, your essence, your chi, is so it's the most, I would say it's the most difficult thing a man can overcome, right? However, if you wish to enter the gates of heaven, the path is narrow, okay? This is a biblical quote. The path is narrow and the work is not easy. It's hard work. So, one of the things you must do, other than practicing the right action, right hand path, okay, is practice kareza, or white tantra, non-ejaculatory sex. Now, I've talked about that. Hopefully you get the message. Now, let me tell you what happens when you don't practice this. What happens when you do not practice this is, look around you. Look at the state of humanity. Look at the confusion, the chaos. Look at the godlessness of society. Look at the debauchery. Look at the pornography. Look at the filth, the depravity, the darkness that permeates this realm of existence. This is what happens when you do not practice the right hand path. You exist in a state of hell, which is what we see around us. Although we are living in Eden, we are living in the Garden of Eden. However, we as a collective are not practicing the right hand path. We are existing in a state of hell. Now, one can transcend this, right? One can transcend this. One can ascend. One can raise up, heave up the CHRISM, the Christ oil, the Christ within, the I am, the je suis, okay, to the seat of the soul, to the pineal gland, and one can exist in a state of heaven. One can practice yogic path, one can do daily yoga, one can do meditation, exercise, practice fasting twice a month, one can practice abstaining from any debauchery whatsoever, one can not watch death and murder and sex and violence on the television. One can do all these things to purify the consciousness, and one can drink pure water from the source. However, the one thing you must be doing we're not here to abstain from sex altogether. We must practice sex as a sacred union, okay, with a partner that is with a goddess. For a man, with a goddess, or for a woman, find a god, yeah, a godlike man, a righteous man that knows about this. This is of utmost importance. Now, when you fall off the path, let me tell you about this. When you've been walking the path, I've done it for many months. I've done it for 5 years. I've been practicing this. 5 or 6 years I've been walking this path. And it's not easy, okay? The demon of lust is what I wanted to talk about. Lilith. I wanted to talk about the demon of lust, because I have been overcome by the demon of lust many times. And recently I was tempted by lust, and I fucked up. I sinned against myself, against my soul. I let my essence go, and it didn't feel good, and it felt terrible afterwards, and my whole brain chemistry was changed, and I was then left in a state of depression for days, right? Days afterwards, and I must get back onto the path. Now, it is a matter of self-discipline, overcoming the demons of lust. Now, for me, let's talk about this specific last scenario that took place. So I was away from humanity. I was actually out in the wilderness for maybe 3 or 4 days. I'd been visiting Stone Circle, out in the sticks, miles and miles away from people. I did not see anyone for days, right? Now, I then came back into the town, the city, and as soon as I did, right, I was overcome by the demon of lust. Yeah, and I gave in. My self-discipline was not high. For whatever reason, I was just like, oh, fuck it. Now I did try to practice the right-hand path, and I failed. I failed for a reason. I failed because I needed to experience what I experienced afterwards, and that is living in a state of hell. Now, on a esoteric, spiritual level, let me tell you, when you practice this right-hand path, you are existing in Eden, okay? Your oil, the lamp, okay, you need to keep the oil in the lamp to keep it burning. That is talking about the pineal gland. And it's talking about the Christos, the CHRISM, the oil, the cerebral spinal fluid. If you squander that oil, you are squandering your connection with the divine. You are severing your connection with spirit. And so you essentially, for at least 24 hours afterwards, sever your connection with spirit, and you remain in an unclean state until the moon rises again. This is what the texts say. However, I have also heard recently from Santos Bonacci that if you practice this for 12 years, White Tantra, non-ejaculatory sex, sacred sex, sexual union, Kareza, if you practice for 12 years, you actually grow a 13th cranial nerve.